Uh, Okay, welcome everybody. We're on Daf Ayin and second wide line. The Gemara is in the middle of all kinds of remedies and a little bit more. Second wide line. Maybe Shulchan Levi. Achol Basta Shor B'Lefes B'Lavana. We did a few lines of this, but we're just going back a little bit. So Achol Basta Shor B'Lefes B'Lavana B'Leila Yudal Rotesva B'Tkufas Tammuz Achzasa Achilu. There's a disease called achilu, which the Gemara is going to say soon what it is. Somebody eats meat of an ox meat, and lephes is a turnip, and lephes is a turnip, and sleeps in the moonlight on the 14th or the 15th of the summer months. So he's vulnerable to get a disease called achilu. Tana, we learned in a brisa. This one is just this next one is very applicable to everybody. I mean, even nowadays. I'm a Malik race when we called over Achilu. If somebody overeats, he fills up his stomach from any kind of food, that also is vulnerable to this disease called Achilu. Amra Papa, feeling even 2 days. Even 20 days is also not healthy. The Moshe's pizza. Why would you think that the days are different? If any food is not good to overeat, why should that be any different? Yeah, why should it be different? Why would you think days are better? Sakadat Chamena, Hol Vamamar, Tamri Masavan. The dates are great. When talks about dates are great. It says that it satisfies. You can say eating dates, and it warms the body, and it loosens the body. It means the person shouldn't be constipated. It helps. And the ashran, it makes him strong. The fun it doesn't get him used to sweets, even though it's a sweet food, but it doesn't make him. It's fiber, okay, but that's but as far as mafankan, Rashi says, mafankan means so it means that the Rashi says, Einan misangos says alei lios istanis. It doesn't make him to be fussy. A person who eats too many delicate foods might be like then it becomes Yidafka would eat those kind of things. So after pishem besukos, even though it's sweet, it doesn't cause a craving for sweets or anything like that. So it has such good things, so many good characteristics about dates. You might think that eat too much of it's not a problem. Although you might think it's not a problem to eat too much. Even too much of it is also not good. Even too many dates are also not good. My achilu, what is this disease called achilu? So literally it means in Hebrew, fire of the bones, some kind of fever of the bones. I don't know what that means. The word is translated by This is in the same Ishna Tegarmi, which also means fire of the bones. It's just before with Hebrew, now it's in Aramaic. And that's some kind of a bone problem. And that's a problem of the person who ate the ox meat with lephes, and 14th and 15th of the month, middle of the month, he slept under the moonlight in the summer, or anybody that eats overeats, so he's vulnerable to this disease called achilu. What's the remedy? Somebody has this disease. My mother told me. We said that whenever it says the says it means his the one who brought him up, not his mother, because his mother died of childbirth. Before he tells you what the remedy is going to be, he says that all other remedies, sometimes they're taken for 3 days, sometimes for 7 days, sometimes for 12 days, but this is supposed to be taken until he gets healed. Might take a longer time. So other remedies are supposed to be taken on an empty stomach, but this one's supposed to be taken after he ate and drank, and also after he relieved himself. Then enough, he comes out of the laboratory, and he washes his hands, and then there's the following remedy. A fistful of some kind of a dish that's made out of lentils, and the buna also would need some kind of a fistful, and that amount of old wine. And he should mix it together, the wine together with this porridge of lentil beans. Then he should eat it. And he should wrap himself up in a sheet, and he's going to help him with the fever. He has some kind of a fever. He's asleep, and that's going to help him to get rid of this disease. But luckily, no one should wake him up. You let him sleep till he wakes up, till he gets up by himself. When he wakes up, take away the sheet, because the sheet has gotten the disease. He keeps the sheet, it might come back again, it might return. Period. I think it has to do now with eating too much. The Gemara has mentioned something about not good to eat too much, so the Gemara continues with that. So Rabbi Nassim, Echol shlish, ushtei shlish, v'ana shlish. Eat a third of your capacity and drink a third and leave a third. It means don't eat and drink to capacity. A person doesn't know how big his stomach is exactly to say a third, but it means he should leave over a third, even after he eats and drinks. Why? When a person gets angry, so then stomach contracts, it seems. So whatever the point is going to be, so even when he gets angry, if he's going to eat till his capacity, then he gets angry, so that's not going to be good for his digestive system. So leave a little bit of room that even if he gets angry, sounds like it's a daily practice he gets angry. But in case he gets angry, that it shouldn't upset his digestive system. Then Raphia said over a Bryce, if the person wants to be sure that he shouldn't become to digestive sicknesses, he should be used regular in dipping and dipping foods. Probably some kind of people in Yan in the home, it's much there's either vinegar or wine. They used to dip their foods in the summer and the winter. You should always dip. This probably means the vinegar is probably very good for him. So that's Hashem. If something if you enjoy very much, don't make sure you don't eat too much. That if you don't enjoy it, people eat what they need. But if he enjoys it, so then he's eating more than he needs. So something that you enjoy, don't hold back. Don't what? Hold back. Withdraw from it. Doesn't mean don't eat it at all. It means don't eat till you can't do anymore. When you have to relieve yourself, don't hold it in. Okay, that was something that came in about overeating. No Gemara. It's not good. Not good. Don't eat too much. Don't overeat. Don't tell that I'm overeating. When you like it, that's the good thing. Don't like it. Don't eat it. That's another way to say don't overeat. So don't overeat. You want to eat another slice, you won't overeat. You're protected from the disease of overeating. The person overeats, don't overeat. And it's have to have special warning by food that he likes. You like a food you don't eat as much as you need. The food that you like, so then you might eat more. So how do they say? Prepare the portion before you start. That's how much you no, his digestive system is going to be gone. I'm on the shasi tilya chibra. It's some kind of wine, tilya chibra. They say the was going to say some yainra. It's not a good wine. So I don't know what it is, but it's a bad wine. Chibra means white, but it's some kind of a bad wine. That's also vita. It's some kind of a disease called visa. I don't know what it is. And somebody drinks this bad wine, it's not vulnerable to this disease called visa. There's 60 kinds of wines. But the best wine is red, and okay, maybe it's the name, but simcha means red, and mechtana means that it has a good fragrance. And the worst is tilya chivra. So we just said this tilya chivra is the best red wine, and don't someone drinks it, he's dangerous, he's vulnerable to visa. So simcha mechtana, that's a great wine. Nisan, Gabinura, Shaif Mishcha, Benafik, Yasib Shimsha, another bad habit that can bring people to Nisak. This disease also, if somebody sits in the Nisa in the mornings of Nisan, morning is like Safra, in the mornings of Nisan by the fire, and he rubs himself with the oil, and he goes out, sits in the sun, so he's going to contract this disease called Visa. He kills them. He's going to say other things also that can contract this disease called Visa. He kills them. If somebody let blood, which was done as a health process, once upon a time, now is done in order to donate blood. But after a person let blood and he has relations, then the children that are born from that, if she becomes pregnant, might have this disease called Visa. Both of them, the husband and the wife, both of them let blood and have relations, then the kids are even worse off. Having they ban balei rasam, some kind of disease called balei rasam, I don't know what that is. There's another place where it talks about that. It's only if they didn't eat anything after letting blood. Right after they let blood, they had relations without eating. If they ate something after having relations, after letting blood, so it's not so dangerous to have relations. But obviously he's weak. He's obviously that weak after letting blood, so not to exert himself to having relations. Having the bun and biscuit. Also, somebody is wearied out from the road. Nowadays, the road means driving in a car, but those days while on the road meant that he was walking for a long road. So also he's tired out. And if he has relations after that, also the children that are born from that conception are vulnerable to this disease of the skin. Once the Gemara talks about relations, so it talks about other things that also a person should be careful about after a person relieved himself in the lavatory. Okay, it could be over there, latrine, it could be over there. There was a more of a disgusting place. Maybe there's a shade. I'm not sure if it applies nowadays. The post can do say that applies nowadays, that after a person relieved himself, he shouldn't have relations till he waited chatzimil, which is about 9 minutes. Because the demon of the Beis HaKisei is escorting him. So it could be that I'm not sure. I'm just saying those days the Beis HaKisei was very disgusting, and maybe they shaved them, they stayed by disgusting places. Nowadays it's not so bad. It's very hygiene and everything. So maybe it's not, but here it says that it's not Allah. This is more like a health issue. Because it's more of a health issue. If he does, then the children born, if she conceives, might have epilepsy. Tanu Rabbana. So not to have relations while standing or sitting. The proper way is lying. So if someone has relations while they're standing, so then you might get this disease called avis. All these things I don't know what they are. And if he has relations while sitting, so then malaria. What does that mean? That there's something missing in the Gemara over here. I'm not sure. Maybe my Gemara didn't read well. Maybe they have some agos over here. Let's see if there's a bug. Maybe there's something that'll help us. No, it doesn't help me. Okay, so if anybody, the Gemara is going to say something and I don't know how to read it. If anybody has a better gear, so please help me out. So here it says that if somebody had relations while they were, what do we say, standing and sitting, and then it says what? Another thing also, besides sitting, also if the woman is on top and the man is on the bottom, so that's also not the proper way. Doesn't say that it's asama, which says it's derech asus, but it also could be that he'll get this contract, sickness called malaria. The Gemara says my malaria, and I don't see the answer. What is this? What? Delirious. But the Gemara says the question, what is it? And I don't see any answer. The Gemara just continues. I'm Rabbi Shua ben Levi, some delaria dardira. I wanted to check the source. So something's missing, it seems in the gears, so something's missing over here. I don't know what it is, but some sickness, and the Gemara asks what it is, and there might be something missing. Because the Gemara goes on to say, what's the refuah? Some delaria dardira, that the refuah, the remedy for delaria, is dardira. What is dardira? My dardira, Amrabaya Murika, the chochi. So chochi means thorns. So what does Murika mean? Rashi says, I think that Rashi, the translation of this word called is saffron. Murika the chochi. Maybe I have here the, might as well look in what the article did for us over here. We're on page 70. The Gemara says, okay, they have a footnote over here. It says, what is delaria? So Rabbi Shua said, the antidote for delaria is dardira. 23. The Gemara does not identify delaria, but merely describes its antidote. So there's okay, it doesn't say. So the Gemara is missing. Something's wrong. So the antidote is going to be that dardira. What is dardira? The Gemara says saffron that grows in hedges of wild thorns. So morika means saffron, and chochi is thorns. So it's saffron that grows in the hedges of wild thorns. Saffron. I think in Hebrew it's called karkum. 24. The Hebrew word darda means thorns. Okay. He says here that some say that this alaria is going to be a fit of yawning. That this, okay, but that's but something is missing in our board. That's why it's what it is, and doesn't seem to say. This here says yawning. I don't know. And delirious would mean craziness. Okay, I don't know. So what is the refuah? So something had to do with morika the chochi. Morika is saffron that goes by the thorns. Papa always abalale. Papi always v'shadile. Papa, when he wanted to do this refuah, he would chew it and swallow it. Papi would chew it and spit it out. Amar Abai, Mi shen baki b'derech eretz leisi gimel kapizi kortemi dechochi v'nedukinu v'nishlakinu b'charma v'nishti. If someone is not able to have an ejaculation, so we should bring 3 kapizi. Kapizi, Rashi says, it's an amount of kapiza, 3 revios. So kapiza has 3 revios. So revios is about 86 cc. So 3 of them, 3 kapiza of kortemi dechochi. Kortemi dechochi, we said, I think Rashi, according to me, is also the same word as Morika, I think. According to me, the Chochi, what does Rashi say? According to me, also. So Rashi here says, I don't get it. How Rashi here says that it's going to be, Rashi translates, it doesn't fit into the word so well, but Rashi says that's also that saffron that grows in earth that's been fertilized from sheep. So saffron, according to me, and the Morika, what is he about in translation? Grind is pieces of saffron that grind them up, saffron, and boil it in wine and drink it. And that's good for somebody that can't have an ejaculation. This brought me back to my youth. It means even after he was past the age and he was, or temporarily he wasn't able to have an ejaculation, then he took this remedy and he was able to. So saffron that's cooked in wine, that was grown in a place of sheep manure. 3 things weaken a person's strength. So it's going to bring psukim for each one. Pachad, derech, v'avon. Worry, person's worried. Pachad, and derech is when he goes on the road. All these things are too much, of course. And avon, sin. And it brings 3 psukim. Each one says that he loses his core because of this. Pachad, the what? Which one? Pachad is fear. Yeah. I said worry, fear. Okay. Libis chachar azavani kochi. My heart. That could cause a person's strength to forsake him. Azabani kochi. Not what's that? Anxiety. And derech, when a person goes on the road too much, he's doing too much exercise kind of thing. He's on the road traveling. So I'm not sure if it means any kind of over exercise or it means dafka being on the road. But derech kochi, that the pasuk is going to say that he afflicted my strength. My strength was afflicted on the road because of the road. But derech kochi. Nice translation. Yes. Weakness. He is afflicted my strength on the way. It could be. It's also, or it could mean also, but it's not the stress of the anxiety, not anxiety. It's physical. Mm-hmm. Also, when he used to walk on the road also. Horse riding, donkey, it's not like he was sitting. And sitting in the car, maybe it's not. You can't just. Avon, and also sin causes a loss of strength. That my strength has stumbled because of my sin. So these 3 things cause the person to be weakened. Next thing, 3 things also weaken a person's body. 3 things weaken a person's body. If a person eats while standing, or drinks while standing, or has relations while standing. So those 3 things weaken a person. Before it says something else about that. It said a person's, what did it say before? A couple of wise ago, what did it say before? Malaria, right? What did it say? Avis, a different thing. Before it says something, a different kind of sickness. And here it says that it weakens him. The next thing, Chamisha, Kroven, Lamisa, Yosem, Achayim. There are 5 that are closer to dead than to being alive. Beiluhain, Achal V'amad, Shasa V'amad, Hikis Dam V'amad, Yashan V'amad, Shemish Mutasa V'amad. Right, this is right after he ate. As soon as before we talk about eating while standing, drinking while standing. This is that as soon as he finishes eating, he stands up right away, or he drank and right away he stands up. Probably drinking means wine, something like that. Or right after he let blood, right away he stood up. Or as soon as he woke up, he jumped up out of bed. It says not to jump out of bed. It says first to get slowly out of bed. And also after having relations, that right away he stands up. Also, that's too much for the body, closer to being dead than to being alive. Shisha, ha'osa, osan, miyadme, 6 things. Here means there's all of them. If he does them, then I don't know, he's immediately going to die. So it says here 6 things that a person does. So one thing after the next, that knocks him off so much. Above the derech, v'nis yageya, ikis dam, v'nichas habeis hamerchatz, v'shalsav v'nishtakia, v'yoshen agavi karka, v'shemesh mitasa. He let blood, then went to the bathhouse, hot bath, and then he drank to the point of becoming drunk, and then he slept on the floor, and then he had relations. All these things he's a goner. Rabbi Yochanan, Vusha Asin Kesidron, only in this order. This order is very dangerous. Rabbi Kesidron Meish, Lo Kesidron Cholish. If he does it in the order, then he's going to die. And if he doesn't do it in order, so he's not going to die, but it's also going to weaken him very much. Eini Bamauras, of the Leila, of the Atlas Minai Umis, there was a woman, Muras, says her name, and she did to her Ebbe three out of the 6 things. And also he died. I don't know what it was exactly. She was making an experiment, but the slave bled blood and went to the base of Merchatz and got drunk, maybe those 3 already, and he died after 3, not only after 6. He was weak from to begin with. He wasn't a strong constitution, but somebody that's a strong constitution, so even him, after 6 of these things, also he would die. Shmona, Ruben Kasha Mutan Yafa. There are 8 things that too much is no good, but a little bit is good. A little bit is good, but too much is no good. Leiluhain, Derech, walking on the road. A little bit is good, healthy, but going too much is no good. Derech Eretz, relations, a little bit is good, healthy, but more than necessary, more than normal is not good. Overworks the body too much. Osher, a little wealth is good, but too much wealth is not good. A little wealth is good. Malacha, work also, to work the right amount, but to work too much is not good. Yayin, wine, a little bit of wine is good, too much is no good. Shena, sleeping, the right amount is good, but too much is not good. Chamin, what's that? Rashi maybe to wash. Rashi maybe says also to drink. Either one. So drinking hot water or washing, bathing in hot water. So a little bit is good, but too much is not good. Because it's down and letting blood. A little bit is healthy. They say it's healthy nowadays also, even though people don't do it for health reasons, but they also say that it regenerates the blood once in a while. That's what they used to do as a study. But nowadays they just do it to donate blood. They say also the health benefits, but too much is no good. Shmonim matames azera. 8 things cause the semen to be less. Minimizes a man's semen. Beluhain, hamelach, salt, ra'ov, and hunger. Not enough food, undernourished. Anesek, what was that? Some kind of saras. We know from the pasuk anesek is a kind of a saras. Okay, Bechia, crying. Shein al gabi karka, sleeping on the floor. Bechia, crying. Shein al gabi karka. Could be that the point of shein al gabi karka means that's a cold floor. I'm not sure what's being shein al gabi karka. If he has a mattress on the floor, I don't think it's a problem. Shein al gabi karka probably means that he's on the floor. So whatever the moist or the cold, could be dust. Okay, dust and gadganios, which I think they say coriander. I think so. Rashi says the word. I think that word in Rashi is coriander usually, and kshos, which they say kshos shalobuzmana, and hops. That's what they make beer out of. HOPS hops. So if it's not in the right season, which the Gemara is going to say what's called the right season, and akozas dam lamata kiflayim. So those were 7 so far, I think. And the 8th one is a akozas dam lamata. So the Gemara is going to say that there's a part of the body, the upper half of the body, it's going to say that it's healthy to let blood, but the lower half of the body is not good to do akozas dam. And that's what it says, that kiflayim, it's even double as detrimental as all the other 7 that we mentioned before, is like the worst. Tanak, Shem Shekosha Lamata Kiflayim, Kachi Afalamala Kiflayim. Just like we said that when it's on the lower half of the body, then it's double detrimental. So too, if he does the opposite, if he does Kazas Dam on the upper half of the body, so then it's double beneficial. Amra Papa, what's the mata mean? What's the mala? The mata, let's go send it over here. Lamata min habeitzim. Lamata min habeitzim. When we say below and above, it means the testicles. Above the testicles, it's healthy to let blood. Below the testicles, it's detrimental to let blood. We said that hops that are not in season is not good. If it's not in season, it's not good. But if it's in season, then adrabah, then it is beneficial. What does it mean in the season? In the summer months, that's when chose is good. But in the winter, then it's not good. If it's going to be the autumn or the spring, so then it doesn't benefit, it's not difficult. So that's all about shows, hops for having ejaculation, having semen. We finished. Okay, we finished the remedies. Back to gittin. So how did it all come in? Because we spoke about Krodikis in the beginning of the Mishperik. It said someone that gave instructions to write a get, and then he got Krodikis, which we said is some kind of he's not Mamash Shota, but from drinking wine, he got a ruach, and we don't know if we could trust him, so we don't trust him. So if he said to write a get, that's considered instructions, and the shliach could write the get, even though he changed his mind. He says, "Don't write a get." The opposite, he said, when he was Kodaikus, how's it go? When he said Kodaikus, he said, how does it go in the Mishnah? When he had Kodaikus, but he said he gave instructions. The first one was he said the first one was that he said to write a get when he had Kodaikus. The other one was that he said instructions to write a get when he was healthy, and then he Kodaikus. So that's what it said. So he gave instructions when he was healthy. He said to write a get. So he write a get, even though he got to Kodaikus, he don't listen. So the question I was going to talk about: can he write the get even while he has the seizure of Kodaikus? Because the halacha is going to be that a shota you can't. If he's a shota, so you can't give a get, even if you gave him a shliach before. Because right now he's not able to give a get, even if you appointed a shliach before, you can't write a get. I'm not sure Melmakish goes from the nose to get. The altar, you could write the get right even while he has Kodaikus. Kodaikus is more to say it's not Rav Shlokish is not Mamash Shota. So you could write the get even when he has Kodaikus, because he gave the instructions before. You have to wait till he gets better. My time of the Rav Shlokish, Rav Shlokish told you can write it while he has Kodaikus. The Ketani and with Avrohom says you ignore what he said. He gave instructions to write a get. Then it says he got Kodaikus, he said don't. So you ignore him. So you write the get. And all the Mishnah means is that you don't have to ask him again. That even though you have to wait till he gets better. But you don't have to ask him again if he wants to get, because you have already instructions. And you don't have to be choshish for the words that he said when he was at Kodaikus. But right now you can't give him the get. You can't give the get while he has Kodaikus. Why not? What's the essence of the machlokus? Rish Lakish Madami Leili Yashin, Avrohom Madami Leili Shota. Rish Lakish considers him like he's sleeping. He's not all there, so you know what he says in his sleep, but not that he's a shota. It means if someone made a shliach to give a get and then he went to sleep, you can give the get. Avrohom Madami Leili Shota, that is Mamash Shota. So if he made a shliach and then became a shota, you can't give the get. Why does Avrohom say he's not considered sleep? Why is he considered a shota? And why it says Yashin, I'm Mechusa sleeping, you don't have to do anything in order to get up. But this person, they have to do some kind of remedy. The Gemara said with the meat, with bisra sunka, v'chamra marka, you have to give him lean meat, like roasted on coals and watered down wine. So there's something you have to do. It's not going to get better on his own. So that's why it's not the same as sleeping. That's what Yochanan holds. Rish Lakish nami idami l'shota. So why does Rish Lakish not agree? It's different than sleeping because you have to do something in order to remedy him. The answer is shota lo sami biyadan. Hi, sami biyadan. A shota doesn't have any way to remedy him. They have no medicine. But this one has medicine. So this would be something that has to do with medicine, like the one calls it a medicine. But even though it's meat, and it's a medicine. So if there's no medicine for somebody, so then he's considered a shota. But if there's a medicine, that's machlokes if it's a shota or not. Comes out machlokes. If somebody's on the state of a shota, but there's a medicine for him, so he's not like sleeping because. I'm sorry, that's a machlokes. One says that it's not sleeping because he needs a medicine. If someone's sleeping, he has to wake up by his own. The other one says no, that he has to have medicine, so it's considered a shota. And the other one, that's machlokes. But you know, but eventually he'll get up. But this person, it seems like Kodaikus doesn't get better by itself. If you don't get, that's what it sounds like. If he could get it better by himself, then it's the same thing as sleeping. It sounds like. So that comes out. Mamish, interesting thing. Mamish, a big yisod over here. As somebody who's in a state of a shota, but there's a medicine for him. There's a machlokes of Avrohom and Rish Lakish. According to halacha, it seems like Avrohom he's considered a shota when he's in a shota state. After the medicine, then he's not. But before the medicine, just because he could take a medicine, Rish Lakish shows the fact that there is a medicine is enough that he's not considered a shota, just like sleeping. I mean, according to Avrohom, he's considered a shota. It depends what depression is. Depression might be it's a bad state, but doesn't mean that for shota. Shota means that he's mamish, not in control. So that's what it seems to be in focus. It should be a big yisod that according to Avrohom, even if there's a medicine, till he takes the medicine, it's considered a shota. The Gemara mentions the remedy that you have the lean meat that's roasted on coals together with the watered down wine. The Mars Akasha, Rabbi Yochanan says here that it's considered a shota. Rabbi Yochanan says it's considered a shota. Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, Shachat Bo Shnayim V'Rov Shnayim, Rabbi Yom Kisvu Get Lishti. If somebody, they slaughtered him, they slaughtered his, slit his throat. And Shnayim means both Simanim, the esophagus and the trachea, means that he's going to die. Or even Rov. So, but he was still living, and he said, write a get for my wife. So you could listen to him because he's still considered alive. And another Bryce, besides him, Shmuel said that the Tanya, he was chopped up. A man was chopped up, ready to die, or he was crucified. And he said, write a get for my wife. So you can still write it if you're successful in writing it before and give it to the wife. Give it to the wife before he dies. So you see that he's considered alive, and here he's saying that he's considered a shota. So the more says, what's the problem? What's the comparison? Hasam died at Salusei. He's not shota over there, even though he's dying, but his mind is still clear, and he's just starting to die, so he's getting weak. But he's not. His mind is still sound. But over here he has a confused mind. The Kodikis, he's considered a confused mind, and therefore he's not able to give a gift. No kasha. The more is not a problem. That if somebody, they slit his throat and he ran away. You don't know where he is now. So if you saw that, you could testify to his wife that she could get remarried, because he surely, the one thinks at this point that he's dead. But now he said a second ago he's not dead. He said that he can even give instructions to write a get. He's like if he's considered alive. The more thought that statement that says midin alav, that seems that that's considered a dead man. He's a dead man. So if you say he's dead, how could you write a get? Amri chayu. So it doesn't mean that he's dead already. A person who's, even if he had a slit throat, but he's still living, so he's still alive. But he's surely going to die. How long is it going to take till he dies? A couple of maximum a couple of minutes, maximum. So you could testify that he died after a couple of minutes. But you want to know if you could give instructions to write a get, he's still alive. How come if somebody does this, the person did it by mistake? Somebody, however it happened, he slit somebody's throat by mistake. Okay, whatever happened, however he did it, he did it by mistake. So he should be chayv golus, because he's saying that he's definitely going to die, even though it doesn't happen right away, but he's definitely going to die. So why does it say that he's not chayv golus? Why did we learn the brisa? If somebody by mistake caused somebody else's throat to be slit, he doesn't go to golus. Why not? You're saying that he's definitely going to die. The answer is, first wide line, because we choshesh that the wind, it means he's definitely going to die, but you can't attribute everything to the one who did it, because it has to be also because the wind, the air, with the wind, whatever, also caused him, it added on to the death. It means that he didn't die on his own, he only died because of the ruach. If there'd be no ruach at all, then what? Then he also would have died. But maybe only that. Then it only would. But here he died earlier. But he anyway would have died, as Rashi say on this. Rashi at this point says it could be he wouldn't have died. That's why he's not chayv golus. And but even if there would have been no wind, then he wouldn't have died. So therefore he's not chayv golus. But there is a wind. There was always a wind. So that's why he's definitely going to die. But you can't say it's chayv golus because he didn't necessarily do it. Maybe the wind did it. Inami, who cares that the person himself, he caused himself to die earlier because he was jumping around. That if he would have been still, then he would have died. It sounds like he would have died, but he caused himself to die earlier. So therefore, the one who did it is not chayv golus. That's interesting. Even though he would have died anyway, but he just caused that the person caused himself that he should die earlier. So that's the reason why the first one was not chayv golus. That needs explanation to me. And he Rashi on those words. So that's interesting to me. Like, I would think that if someone did something, he's going to die in 10 minutes, and now he died in 5 minutes. So the first one is not chayv misa. It's not chayv golus. He caused him to die. And the person himself caused him to die a bit earlier. No, so then it's called that the one who killed him didn't actually kill him because he killed himself earlier. That's a chiddush. My benai, what would be the difference between these 2 points? One possibility was that the ruach is involved. The other possibility is that he's the one who made his death earlier. The shachte bebes of the shisha, that it was in a marble room. That means that there's no wind. In a place which is definitely no wind, there's marble bricks, whatever, no windows, no nothing. So there was no wind at all. But the person himself, the victim, was jumping around. So as far as the wind, there was no wind. But as far as him causing his misa, he's the one who causes misa. According to one possible one shash, Shema Ruach Bubulata, this person will be chayiv golus because he's the one who did it. There's no ruach. But if it's because Kir Ves Misaso, so that's a reason to say that he shouldn't be chayiv golus because the person himself brought on his own death earlier. Inami the shachte bebro below pirchai. If it was outside, there is a wind, but the man didn't move at all. So if you say the point is the ruach, so there's a ruach. So the murderer didn't do it. If he says because he was moving around, he didn't move. He didn't move around. Comes out, everybody would hold if he was in a place where there's no wind and also he didn't move around, then what? Then surely it's chayiv golus because he did it. So that's a huge chiddush that even if somebody did everything to kill him, but he caused his death to be a couple of minutes earlier, so the one that killed him is not chayiv, not attributed to him. That is explanation. The Mishnah says further, nishtatek, that he became mute. He was he gave the man what? Nishtatek. Nishtatek, he became mute. So it seems that's not because of a throat problem. It's because of mental or something in his mind. So that's why we're not sure if he's what's the word? Presence of mind. So we check him out if he has presence of mind. So we ask him questions, and the Mishnah says you ask him 3 questions to see if he answers the right answer by shaking his head. So it says that we check him out. What does the Mishnah say? Yes and no to the right questions, so you could trust his presence of mind. But if you ask him a couple of questions and he says yes and they're all right, maybe he got into a twitch of shaking his head yes. That's not enough proof. Just because he asked 3 questions and the answer is yes, and he shook his head yes 3 times, it doesn't mean that he knows what he's talking about. Or he asked him 3 questions and the answer is no, and he shook his head no 3 times, maybe because he has a twitch of saying no, of shaking his head no. I'm Rav Yosef, I'm Yumi, I'm Rav Nachman, and Rino Leib say Rugin. So I would have thought the Gemara means that you ask him yes, no, yes. But Rashi doesn't say that because the words we use the word say Rugin in the Hebrew, we use it to mean alternate. So the one's very good. So you say you ask 3 questions, yes, no, yes. But Rashi knows that that's not the word serugin means. Rashi says the word serugin, the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah says serugin means that you have a pause in between. It doesn't mean the way we use it to alternate. It means you do, and then you stop, and then you do again. That's called serugin. And nowadays in Hebrew, they use the word serugin to alternate, and the Gemara also reads very well. But Rashi, I think, is based on the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah. The Gemara where it says Rabbanan didn't know what the word serugin means. And then they heard from Amsi the Rebbe, they heard the Rebbe Shifcha, that the Talmidim were coming in to learn a few, and then another few, then another few. Said, why are you coming in? Say Rugin. So over there it wasn't alternating. Over there was with spurts, with pauses. The Rashi says here that's what the Gemara means. So the Gemara would have been nice to say alternating. Would have been nicer maybe, but Rashi doesn't say it because he knows that Gemara. So you ask questions. According to Rashi, you ask 3 questions. Maybe all of them is yes, but you don't say right away a question. Keeps on shaking his head yes. Maybe he's in a twitching of yes. But the one says, they say Ruganakte. Maybe he got such a twitch also. So according to Rashi, you're going to say that it means with the pauses. Without Rashi, I would have liked to say that he got a yes and a no and a yes. That was his twitch. But the Rashi going to the word say Rugan doesn't mean to alternate. I wonder what Hospital says, just because they help the family if they go because they're loyal to periodic. They call it periodic. Okay, anybody say different? 27, 28. Okay, that's the Rashi got it from the Gemara. So Rashi is good. Just nowadays, the word say we're going to mean to alternate, as far as I know. Right? The Hebrew is to alternate. Yeah, also we good. The one is very nice, but Rashi learns the word is to alternate to periodic. So therefore, the one says maybe there's a periodic twitch. So he says, that he asked him 6 questions, that the answer should be no, yes, yes, no, no, yes. And he gets it all right for 6 questions. That there's no switches over there, no periodics, no nothing. The Gemara will be much nicer for meant to alternate. And the Gemara says, now don't do an alternating, right? With periodic, I don't think so. Once you say this, you don't say anything about periodic. The Shash was maybe you got a twitch. So once you do this, there's no twitch anymore. Once you get a no, yes, yes, no, no, yes, so there's no twitch. So then you're sure that he got it right and you're communicating and he knows what he's saying. The one ask him a question that for sure you have to get the right answer. Not that it's a question that's a subjective question. It has to be an objective question. Everyone's going to say, did I get it right? Everyone's going to say the right answer. It has to be a definitely right answer of no, a definitely right answer of yes. So I would say something like, yeah, what? It has to be objective, not subjective. Thank you. So here, Shmuel says, you tell him something about winter and the summer and the winter, like the one says, and the one says, what does that mean? My love. What do you mean you ask him a summer question in the winter? Then you ask him in the summer, do you want a coat? You ask him in the winter, you want a short sleeve shirt. So, and then he gets the wrong answer, you know that he's not on target. But the one says, maybe he's cold, maybe he's hot. Everyone's hot, but he wants a coat. We have that also sometimes. Everyone is hot and he wants a coat. It's not you can't definitely prove that he's not living. Maybe he wants a coat. And even if everybody's cold, he wants a short sleeve shirt. So it's not about it. So Ella, top line, Ella Beperi. That means you ask him what's in season. That you ask him, do you want, like I think Rashi says cherries. Cherries, maybe. That you ask him something that doesn't grow in that season. Everybody knows it doesn't grow in the season. You ask him, what's an example? Nowadays we don't know so much because everything is like oranges in the summer, something like that. Nowadays we're not used to that too much because we have everything we can get. I think it's cherries. Just check it out. Yeah, I'll check it out. Is that what our school says? I think that this word in Rashi means cherries. I have a French dictionary. Tzaddik. Tzaddik. Yes. Yeah. Cherries. Got it. Which one? Oh, Nishmala. Good. Medlars. A fruit that is like a small wild sour apple. Oh, he calls it like chestnut. And everybody knows that cherries don't grow in the winter, and that medlars don't grow in the summer. Okay, Yashkoch, everybody. You can still make more of it. Okay, Yashkoch, thank you.